Jason Whitlock. That's Marcellus Wiley. That dude.
Yes, sir.
Coming up, we'll get into the latest on Josh Gordon's decision to step away from football.
And I've got another installment of the Emmy Award-winning That Dudes. But we start every day with a Whitlock. What you got today, dog?
All right, give the Carolina Panthers credit. They did all they could to avoid the ramifications of the 7-year itch with star quarterback Cam Newton. You've heard of the 7-year itch. Marilyn Monroe popularized the phrase in 1955 when she starred in a movie about a man who grew dissatisfied with his marriage after 7 years. For decades in America, the median age for divorce was a little more than 7 years. Last year was Cam Newton's 7th year in the NFL and 7th year with the Panthers. Headed into this season, Carolina smartly jazzed up their marriage to their former MVP quarterback. They hired a seasoned QB marriage counselor in Norv Turner, who advised the team to open up the marriage by adding Christian McCaffrey as a partner. The first half of this season, Newton, McCaffrey, and Turner formed a threesome the likes of which we haven't seen since HBO canceled Big Love. Great show. But you know what? It didn't fix the marriage. It didn't fix the fundamental problem in the relationship. Cam Newton has bad mechanics. He's so physically gifted, he refuses to commit to consistent, proper footwork. He throws the ball entirely with his upper body. Why is anyone surprised after throwing the ball 22 times in the fourth quarter in a win over the Philadelphia Eagles in Week 7 that Cam's shoulder hasn't felt right since? So now, after losing 6 straight games, the Panthers are shutting down their sore-arm quarterback and going with Taylor Heineke for the final 2 games. Last offseason, the Panthers worked on their marriage to Newton. This offseason, they should start preparing for a divorce. Studies show that after the 7th year of marriage, tensions either rise or partners adapt to each other. Despite Newton's elevated completion percentage, I say tensions have risen. Head coach Ron Rivera's future is questionable. As Cam is aged, he's less of a threat running the football. His footwork is so sloppy, you can't trust him as a thrower in the biggest moments. His most memorable play this season will be overthrowing a wide-open receiver on a 2-point conversion to win the game. Can't blame that on a sore shoulder. That's just bad mechanics. Is Cam a bad quarterback? Hell no. He doesn't turn 30 until May. He could come back next season healthy and perform at a high level. My advice is to prepare for divorce, not file for divorce. The Panthers should draft a quarterback in the 2nd or 3rd round. Brett Favre threw for 4,000 yards and 30 TDs the season before the Packers drafted Aaron Rodgers. Plus, the new model for NFL success is having a young quarterback on his rookie deal rather than an overpriced franchise quarterback. It's time for the Panthers to start preparing for life after Cam. They've tried coddling him for 7 years. Now it's time to pressure it. All right, joining the desk now are former NFL stars Eric Dickerson and TJ Houshmandzadeh. Marcellus, start with you as always.
Yes.
Time to prepare for divorce with Cam?
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, woo, this one hurt. This one hurt. This one almost brought some animus out of me. I was like, I'm about to beef with Whitlock on this one because I think it's premature if you're talking about the 30 years old Cam Newton that's going to return to the field next year. Or it's premature if you look at who he is and what he's been through before. He went through this same injury, 2016, played through it that time, had the surgery in the offseason, got it fixed, and came back, played 16 games, and won 11 of those. So he returned to form. This is a guy who was having an MVP season before this injury this year. I just think that this is a classic case of a guy who's not hurt, but that's par for the course for a great quarterback, no matter who you are. You want to go Tom Brady, missed the entire season before. Peyton Manning, missed the entire season before. Aaron Rodgers, last year, this year. And that preparation, I think, is premature because he's coming back at 30. He's not even coming back at an elderly age where you got to start saying, who's out there and how should we shift our focus as an organization? Don't forget that form, mechanics, is just a means to an end. Everybody, Phillip Rivers can show you that mechanics don't mean everything. Larry Bird shot didn't look pretty, but it was a means to an end. Michael Johnson, the best athlete for a while in our world, track runner. Everybody told him to break his elbows, run like everybody else. Michael Johnson ran like a robot to the tune of 2 world records. So I'm not concerned that Cam is an upper body thrower. A lot of times people will instruct you if you're just so physically gifted not to follow through with all the same mechanics. My golf
got a bad shoulder, and you keep throwing totally with your upper body, Marcellus.
And he has a bad shoulder, and he's had it twice. This is the second time in a career that's been 7-8 years. That's an NFL MVP career, and he's been known as an Iron Man. So I think the point at the shoulder, which has been an issue with him, but he's not a guy that's breaking down. He's not a guy that's not available every week. He's been known and termed an Iron Man. This is just an example of a guy who's hurt, get it fixed, and return back to greatness.
I'm of the opinion do you plan for a divorce? You can plan for a divorce. You have to be prepared in case he's not ready to go. Now, you can draft a quarterback and try to develop him. If he turns into a player and Cam Newton continues to play the way he plays, sorry, Cam, you got to sit the bench. We're going to trade you. We're going to release you, whatever. And if this kid is just okay, you ride the wave with Cam. It's like 6-2 to start the season. He was an MVP candidate.
Yeah. But
this league, as we know, is what have you done for me lately? And lately, the Carolina Panthers have been playing like trash, so the quarterback's going to take the blame. They gonna take the blame. Has he been playing well? Absolutely not. But when you look at the weapons around Cam Newton, he's never had weapons until the last couple years. They got McCaffrey, and then I like the kid DJ Moore. But Kelvin Benjamin was actually pretty good in Carolina. He's trash right now.
So isn't that credit to Cam Newton?
It's credit to Cam. It's credit. Cam Newton, what he needs to do, and I don't really know what's going on, he needs to hire somebody that's with him in Carolina that constantly works on his body, a la Alex Guerrero with Tom Brady, to make sure that your body's not breaking down, especially your moneymaker, which is your shoulder.
But even with Alex Guerrero, Tom Brady broke down. Like
you can't
fix
when
yourself.
You tear your knee, that's completely different. When you have a shoulder injury, you can manage that.
Well, Tom Brady right now is having a suspected
at 41.
Okay, well, the point is, it doesn't matter what age. If you want to look at any quarterback, Drew Brees tore his shoulder off the torso at, 26? Like, injuries are part of the game. You're trying to take the violence out the game?
Twice, Marcellus.
Right.
And the guy only throws with his upper body. His poor mechanics, to me, are contributing to his shoulder
The injury isn't so bad to where they're not playing him. They're not playing him now because they're eliminated from the playoffs. But he's hurt. But is he to the point where he can't play?
I don't like you said, you can look at divorce, but if you want to have a semi-separation, you want to call it that.
Open up the relationship.
Yeah, open relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's time maybe to start looking, have that guy just in case, because all of us come to an end, in different times. I mean, Cam's a quarterback that's taken a lot of punishment as a quarterback because, you don't see a quarterback get hit that much. But Cam also throws a lot of picks at the wrong time. He really does. But on the other hand, would you rather go with him or without him? I'd rather go with him. I really do. And he said the shoulder injury for a quarterback is like the knee injury for a running back or a knee injury for a receiver.
Tommy John for a pitcher.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's a major injury. So, you have to look into that. I mean, and one thing about the National Football League, and you said it, TJ, is that they want to know what you've done for me lately. You hurt now? Well, that's on you. What can you do for us right now? If he was winning, let's just say if they'd have won the last 4 or 5 games in a row, and his shoulder was still bothering, wouldn't even have this conversation. And he wouldn't even have great.
You're opening up a relationship with a NFL MVP that had a 6-2 record that was in the MVP conversation this year. The same season, you're saying now it's time to look for other options.
But you know what it boils down to?
That's crazy.
Money. Average, he's he's the 15th ranked paid quarterback in the league. That right there is manageable.
Yeah,
from that standpoint, it's almost like anything. You get a divorce, you got somebody on the side waiting for you. You're gonna divorce him, you better have something. You better have options.
That's really what I'm saying. Go to the draft and put some pressure on Cam. Cam has been coddled for 7-8 years in Carolina. That has produced a 1 Super Bowl run and an MVP. But here lately, it just hasn't produced at a high enough level where I can keep coddling Cam. I'm going to put some pressure on him. I gave him Chris McCaffrey. I gave him North Turner. Now I'm going to give him some pressure.
But
I'm going to draft a guy.
2 years.
But Cam he needs a foot in his rear end, man. to stay on these mechanics and the little things. When you're that physically gifted, you cut corners.
I hear that.
And that's what when you watch him throw the football, he's cutting all kinds of corners.
This is a wake-up call for him, though.
How?
When you're
not this draft class. Not this quarterback draft class.
not this.
Go grab something in this draft class. He's gonna laugh at whoever.
Just the fact that he's injured and he only knows when this popped up. And it could have popped up early in the season and he was having success. And so you mask it. It's kind of like, oh, we're doing well, so it really doesn't matter. This draft class isn't that strong.
Right.
But you have to prepare. And again, if it doesn't work, he's not making a lot of money compared to the rest of the quarterbacks. And so I don't see him getting rid of him, but I'm with you.
But this draft class isn't that strong. Just remember, Tom Brady's draft status wasn't that strong.
True.
And so I'm talking about second, third round, go get you a young quarterback and see if you can punch a lottery ticket. Put some sort of pressure on Cam because I'm just telling you, he's been so talented, and there's only one guy sitting at this desk that had equal talent to Cam.
Thank you.
And Eric, you serious? I'm not even.
You mean talent? You mean accomplishment?
Don't be hating.
You actually lived up to your talent.
He did.
I had some talent too.
Eric, ridiculously talented, and you know that can cover up all kinds of.
Well, you look at me like that.
Because if you know what? This is one of my only two idols in football growing up. And I remember people talking about Eric Dickerson's running style. Every single time. He runs too straight up. He's going to get hurt. 16 games, 14 games, NFL rushing record. You should be supporting a guy like Cam Newton.
No, wait. I am supporting him. I'm not saying get rid of him. Not at all. I think they should keep Cam. But also, I think they should protect themselves with another quarterback. No matter who it is, somebody you can develop. Because, I mean, time goes on all of us. But most definitely, am I saying get rid of Cam? No, by no means. I mean, and you said it. Only Cam knows how his shoulder felt. I mean, because as a player, you want to keep playing. You want to keep your job. You don't want to see nobody else step in your job. Oh, you're going to take this week. I guarantee you, these last two games, you think he want to see that other guy play?
No.
No, he does not.
But how do you develop an NFL quarterback? It's not like our positions. Think about it. You get a young DN, rotate him. Get a young receiver, put him in a 5 receiver package. Running back, short yardage or you need a break, we get him out there. Quarterback.
You're not rotating the quarterback.
How are you going to rotate a quarterback with Cam Newton to put the pressure?
It's not about rotating the quarterback. It's putting Cam on notice like, hey, man, you have to step up and improve these things. The organization is running out of patience. Green Bay did it with Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, and it was like Brett Favre was 35. Go look at Brett Favre's last season in Green Bay. He balled out. He balled out. And again, that pressure, sometimes these guys have had so much success. When you Cam Newton, man, ever since 3rd or 4th grade, he's been untouchable.
But as a competitor, though, don't you think inside himself that he wants to improve because of the way this is going now, because of the way they started off 6-2 and they fell off a cliff? Just the competitor, when you get to his level, you're a competitor. He knows once my shoulder gets, I got to fix this. I got to do better. I have to do better.
He's internally motivated. And the
100%. He's self-motivated.
It's not analogous because Brett Favre wasn't driven out of Green Bay. They kept begging him back, and he finally just got to a point where they were like, okay, well, you know what? You're not giving us any firm decision. We have to make a decision. They begged him every single year. Only Patrick Mahomes is the only one that I see where you didn't necessarily rotate him in, but you knew we had to make a change.
Okay, but listen, we keep as a competitor, and I do believe Cam is a competitor. But is he a 24/7, 365 competitor like Peyton Manning or Tom Brady or Drew Brees? I'm not so sure, because if he were, his mechanics would be better. He would start taking care of some of the little things. He would help his throwing out with his feet, with his legs, by stepping into his throws. He gets to cut corners, and you can't do it in the NFL.
But you saying mechanics. Okay, you said it best. You know, when they talk about running style, I was criticized. The Cowboys said they would not draft me because I would not last long in the NFL. I ran too high, which was BS. I mean, I knew what kind of work ethic I had. You know, I don't think it's about the mechanics. One thing, it's what works for you. It's like a guy has an ugly golf swing, but it works for him. It's like Phillip Rivers. Hold on, can I finish my time?
Go ahead. Go ahead, Eric.
Phillip Rivers might not throw like you think he should throw the football by his mechanics. Look at the mechanics. But man, is he very
Got
effective.
it. You know what? And all that would be true. If Eric Dickerson's mechanics caused him to fumble 10 times a year, you would have had to change your mechanics. And the problem we keep having with Cam is he's inaccurate in these big spots. He's not as downfield throwing this year. I think he's ranked 29th in the league.
So you think that's mechanics?
Yes.
I think sometimes he's making injury and making the wrong decisions. That's a lot of it.
I'm just telling you, the issue is I'm obsessed. I watch Cam every Sunday. I see the mechanics. Because this kid could be the greatest. And so I watch him. But the mechanics just won't let him do it. And again, he won't fix it. If he's a competitor, he'll fix it. I know one way to put pressure on a competitor.
Well, he's got a guy that North Turner.
Sign somebody else up that plays his position, and he'll compete.
Take it from the 51
Light that fire on him, huh?
51-year-old.
Cam, don't come on here listening. Don't listen to him, Cam.